Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana, and today we are talking about holiday classics and 2024 favorites. Sam is back to join me. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Diana. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here with me to talk about all these holiday TV and movies and songs and everything else. And just before I press record, we had talked about the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting because I was wearing my t-shirt when I was in New York a couple years ago, and it's so fun to watch that show.
I've never had the privilege of being able to go to New York for Christmas, but it's on my bucket list for sure, and I can't wait to go. I'll have to hit you up for all the recommendations for sure.
Well, I've only been to New York twice, and each time was at Christmas time, and I did get to see the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade, like, many years ago. Both times, I tried to see the tree lighting, but I could not
Mhm.
get anywhere near it. It was so crowded. 2 years ago, it was crazy. Both times it was crazy. So, it would be fun
Mhm.
to watch in real life, but hey, we get to watch it on television, so I was good with it.
From the safety of
So
my home, all nice and warm.
exactly, exactly. And, you know, they had, of course, Kelly Clarkson is hosting, and so is the Today
Oh,
Show. And they have different artists if people haven't seen it or don't tune in. But Backstreet Boys sang a couple of songs. And it's funny because I requested a vinyl because I do like listening to vinyls, and I had requested their vinyl. So I got that a couple of years ago, which was really kind of nice. And so it was fun to hear them sing it, a lot of their songs live. So, but in saying that, our question of the day is, what is one of your favorite holiday songs? And so, Sam, I want you to think about it, and you're going to answer it, and I'm going to answer it a little bit later on. But we want our friends out there to, we want to know, what is your favorite holiday song, because memories are conjured up through this, or updated songs, or songs that get you in the mood. So there are a lot of fun songs out there. So we're going to check in with all of you later and with us to see what song that is. But there's so many movies, holiday movies. So we're only going to go over a few of our favorites, and then we're going to maybe talk about some more recent ones, either that came out this year or in more recent times. So Sam, start us off with a favorite of yours.
so one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid is The Nightmare Before Christmas. And when I was younger, I used to watch it at Halloween and at Christmas because it's kind of perfect for both. The songs are just phenomenal. Danny Elfman can do no wrong. Catherine O'Hara, my goodness. Today, I still find things that I like about it because it's just, I don't know. It's probably pure nostalgia, but I love it.
Do you know that I haven't seen that?
What? Diana, you have to see it.
I haven't
Maybe you
seen
don't.
it.
I don't know. Because I feel like my husband, I don't think he watched it as a kid. I think he watched it as an adult with me, where I'm a little kid, and he didn't hate it, but he was like, might be a you movie. Because he doesn't have the
Yeah.
same, nostalgia attached to it.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I'll have to tune in. But I do want to share with you, one of my favorite holiday movies is actually a Thanksgiving Day movie. And I've said this before on the podcast, but for anyone else that's tuning in that doesn't know me or hasn't listened to previous ones, but it is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. It's something I have to watch, and I did watch it on Thanksgiving. So I just love it. It's so funny, it's so 80s, but it holds up because of the sentiment. It's just about two guys traveling, and Steve Martin doesn't really want anything to do with John Candy and his obnoxious personality, but people start to grow on you when you're going through some stuff. So it's just fun to watch those two. So I enjoy that one. What else do you
I
have?
have never seen that movie before, but I have seen that popular theory that John Candy's wife is dead and her body's in the suitcase he carries around or a briefcase or something. And I'm like, maybe I should watch it. That sounds more up my alley. I
You should
really
watch it
also
though.
enjoy I really should. I meant to on Thanksgiving this year, and I woke up with a migraine, so I just did nothing. But I should put it on my list for next year or over holiday break since I'll have like 2 weeks to do nothing.
Yeah. What's your next one?
My next movie is Elf. I don't know, that movie came out, I think, in 2004, and I love, Will Ferrell, and it was such a different character from everything else he had been in because he was in Talladega Nights, that's all I'm thinking of right now, and it was so different. Um, and it's just so I don't even know, like, Zoe Deschanel is super fun, the music is super fun, the message is super fun. I just love all the things that come out of it. Like people make like a Buddy the Elf stuff now with like spaghetti and
Yeah,
marshmallows and maple syrup, and it's just I don't know. It really just puts me in the holiday mood.
it does.
I watch that almost every year too. Yeah.
It's
What about
so
you?
good. I agree. Well, I wanna just say with Elf, I just so agree with you, and I think it it is probably one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies. I just think he embodies that innocence, being so naive and the spirit of Christmas, and he's so good at it. He's just so good at just
He's so
throwing
funny.
himself into that character, and I think that's what we all gravitate toward because it's so funny when he's jumping, "He's Santa! Santa!" I mean, he's just, like, jumping up and
I
down, he's
know him.
so excited, and he's such a big guy that it's so funny to watch him do that, so I think that's why it's so endearing, that character.
I do love when he goes up to Santa Claus and he like sits in his lap or he sits in some like small desk or chair and it's just I don't know, it's so funny.
I gotta go watch it.
Yep.
So the next movie is actually one of my top favorites. Actually, it is probably one I have to watch every year, and that is Christmas Vacation. And yes, I've talked about it before, but I it's just Chevy Chase and his family. I can't, and it's interesting. I can't not watch it is what I wanted to say, finishing my sentence. But what I want to say on Thanksgiving, my family came over and some of them after dinner and after it had been a while after we had been, talking and everything and cleaning up, some of them went to go sit down and watch TV. And so then I went over there
Mhm.
because everything was done, all the dishes were done. And they just had started Christmas Vacation. I thought, because I don't watch it till closer to Christmas time. But I thought, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it with them." So I did. We sat down and watched it together, and I love that when you can watch a
That's
movie
so
together with
cute.
with the rest of your family. And then it was after that that we put on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So actually, Thanksgiving night was so enjoyable for me because we had this great
Yeah.
meal, spent it with my family, and then I watched 2 of my favorite movies of this time. So it was such a good watch, and I could
That's so
almost
cute.
recite yeah, I could almost recite so many of the things that he says, and one of my sons is asked me, "Have they done the sled portion yet?" I'm like, "No, not yet." So even they know, what to expect on it. So
Mhm.
that was a fun watch. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, go check it out. I have a friend here in Silicon Valley. She hadn't watched it, and I was so surprised. And I mean,
Mhm.
she grew up same time as me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you haven't watched this, but she watched it last year for the first time. So she had a good time watching it. Okay, what's
I don't
another
I say
one?
I've never seen it, but I've seen, like, clips of it, like, I know, like, enough to get the pop culture, like, things that are out, like, in the world, and that's good enough for me, I think.
Well,
Um
what I want to share with you about that is if you haven't
mhm,
watched it, is that one of the kind of funny things is that there's a series of different vacations, right? There's the first one where he's with his family on vacation, and there's
I've seen the
one where they go
Vegas
to
one.
there's one that one's okay, and then there's one where they go to Europe,
Yeah,
and
I've
then
just
there's
seen it.
this one, and then there's one when they go to Vegas. Okay, just so you know, Christmas Vacation is the best, and then also the first one. So Vegas and
I was
Europe
gonna
are
ask
just
you, is it the
okay.
original?
Yeah. So the
Yeah, cool.
original and Christmas Vacation. But, the son and the daughter always change. Like, the actors always change. So it's so
I've
funny because
noticed
he's
that.
always yeah, so he's always got a new actor and actress for his kids, which is hilarious in itself. But, here he's just trying to make the best Christmas he can for his family. So it's a fun watch. Okay, so what's your next one?
So I'm a huge fan of there's 2 of them, but they're really short. I really love How the Grinch Stole Christmas and the Rudolph, like, they had, like, the old,
Yes.
but, like, it's a claymation, right? Like, I think we watch they're only, like, 25 minutes, like, or 30 minutes, but I grew up watching them. My parents were a huge fan, my grandparents loved them. So it's just, like, essential a Christmas to me to watch one of them or both.
Yeah.
When my
Yeah.
husband and I were on our honeymoon last December, we happened to be there, we were in Italy for over Christmas, and, we didn't wanna, like, go out and make people cook for us on Christmas, so we went out early, whatever. Came back and watched some, like, holiday movies, and it was really nice to bring some home when we felt so isolated. Because it's like there was, like, a not a 12-hour difference, but, like, 8, and it was
Yeah.
just really nice to have a little bit of home with us.
Yeah. I love those too. There's something about claymation that I like. I don't know what it is because I've noticed I've seen something recently and right now I cannot think of what it was. Maybe it was a trailer for something or I saw something and it was claymation and something made me gravitate toward it. Like I wanted to see it. I found it
Yeah.
just, something about it, I don't know, and you would think I wouldn't like it because it looks all like, they're kinda choppy the way they walk around, but I don't know, something makes me appreciate it, feel warm-hearted about it, I don't know, connected.
Because I think it takes, because now a lot of not that the people aren't talented, I couldn't do any of that, but the claymation stuff, that's a different talent, so I think it just you just appreciate it, like, a little bit more, I think.
So, I
Yeah.
have to bring up a really old movie, but it just is so good, and it's A Wonderful Life, and I didn't really remember seeing this, like, when I was really young, but
Mhm.
as I was growing up, I stumbled upon it because 'cause I'm like, "People keep talking about this movie. What's it about?" And so I tuned in and just the idea of it, the premise of it, of feeling like it's actually kind of sad, and depressing, but,
It's
you know,
dark.
it's yes, it's dark. Exactly. It's very dark, but at the same time, it just makes you think about the importance of who you are, like what you bring, how important you are as a person. That's what I get from it anyway. Because
Mhm.
all the themes of Christmas are about like, oh, what's the importance? It's about being with other people and it's about, not being selfish, this and that. But this one was about you, and what you
Mhm.
bring to that's what I got from that movie. It's like everybody's important. You play a role in other people's lives, whether you think you do or not. So, yeah, so that was another one of my favorites. So, is there anything else you want to mention as far as older classics before we move on to the newer ones?
There was one that I did put on there that I removed, but now I can't remember, so no. What was it?
I did the same thing. Oh, you know which one I brought up? Well, it's not that old, but
What?
it's old enough, and it's Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, I've never watched that one before.
You haven't seen that one? Oh, you should watch it. You should watch it.
That's
It's
with Tim
fun.
Allen, right?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
Tim
and
Allen and
and Jamie Lee Curtis.
that's right. Oh, queen.
So, it's funny because Brittany says that I remind her of Christmas with the Cranks because I always have a party and people expect to come. And she says, one day you're not going to have that party and people are going to want to come because that's what happens. The Tim Allen wants to, because his daughter is away at college and she's not expected home. So he wants to take his wife Jamie Lee Curtis on a cruise. And because they're doing that, they're not
Mhm.
going to do anything Christmassy. Well, the whole town, everybody gets mad at them because he's not buying the Christmas tree that he always buys, and he's not doing this, and you're not putting up Frosty or the snowman on your house, and they're like mad at him, and all this stuff is happening. And then he finds out that his daughter is going to come home for Christmas, and then a whole other story comes up. So it's a fun scenario of what happens. So that's another fun one. There's so many we could talk about. Okay, I would love to know if you have any new or more recent favorite holiday series or something that you've watched you want to recommend.
Sure. So every year, my husband and I watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. It came out, I think, in 2022. It's like a you have to know the characters, but it's like it's its own story, and it's Kevin Bacon is in the story because Peter Quill loves Footloose. He talks about it a lot, like,
Ah,
in the movie, so he's really sad, and Drax and Mantis go to LA to go get Kevin Bacon because they think he's this like he's like a savior because that's how Peter Quill talks about him, and they're not from like Earth, so they have no idea what he's talking about. And it's just like a lot of fun. It's really heartwarming. There's like I'm not gonna give too much away because I want you to watch it. And I don't want to like spoil one of the things that is like it's
yeah.
so heartwarming in the end. Like you have to watch it. It's so good.
Ooh. Do you know where it's playing right now by chance?
Disney Plus.
Ah,
Yeah.
I can't
You
get
don't have
Disney
Disney
Plus right
Plus.
now. Not anymore.
No.
Depressing. All right.
I wonder if it would
Well,
be on like Hulu or Prime.
yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. And if I do find it there, I'll put it in our show notes so all of you can check it out too.
Another new-ish movie that I watch every holiday is The Holiday with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, Jude Law. I love that movie so entirely much. Like the music makes my heart just swell, and it's I don't know, like I don't know, it's just so cozy and just uplifting and just perfect for the holidays because it's happy. It's a happy movie.
It
Have
is.
you
I
ever
love that movie
seen The
too.
Holiday?
Yes. Yes. And I did watch it last year. I don't know that I watch it every year, but I
Mhm.
did watch it last year. I was so happy. And I love it when I stumble upon it, like where it just happens to be where I can watch it. It's in the right timing and then I can do it. And it's so great. And I love that because there are some really good ones that I love when that happens.
And then like another one that we also watched last year was Spirited. That was on Apple TV. It's with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Speaking of him, like embodying a role, so he
Yeah.
plays. I forget what they're called, but essentially it's like Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and he's playing like one of the ghosts, and it's like it's super fun. It's a little long, but it's super fun. Those two have great chemistry because they're both like goofballs, I think. And it was just really nice to see like a modern, not take on an old tale, but just like I guess a modern take on an old tale.
I saw that too. Was it last year or the year
Mhm.
before? Anyway,
Might
I
have been two
enjoyed
years
that.
ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't even remember now because the years go by so fast, but I
They
watched
really
it and
do.
I remember that I was pleasantly surprised. They were dancing and
Yep.
singing and I thought the production of all of it. So I agree with you on those. Those are good ones. The only one I haven't seen is the Guardian of the Galaxy one. So I have to hopefully see if I can get to see that one. All right, I
Yeah.
have a few new ones that I've seen. The
Yep.
first one is Hot Frosty on Netflix. And I have to say, I almost didn't watch it because I thought this sounds dumb. Why do I want to watch Hot Frosty? That sounds like such a dumb name. Oh, I got sucked in. I got sucked in and I found it surprisingly pretty good. I thought, I
So
like
I
this.
haven't watched it yet, so don't spoil anything.
I'm not going
I'm
to.
watching it this
And
weekend.
all of these I'm just going to recommend and just give you a overview and people can watch them if they want
Awesome.
or not, but this I will say I shed a tear. So that's it
Oh.
affected me, and when I shed a tear I'm like, whoa, that affected me somehow. So I enjoyed it. The next one is Our Little Secret, which is also on Netflix with Lindsay Lohan, and it's lighthearted fun. I've seen Lindsay Lohan. This is the second Christmas movie that I've seen her in, and I actually like this one better, I think, than the last one. It's about two exes. They have new partners, and then they find out that their partners are siblings. So they end up at the same Christmas weekend or week or whatever it is. And the mom of those siblings is Kristen Chenoweth, and she does not like Lindsay Lohan. So it's like so funny the things that Lindsay Lohan does to get her to like her or get her to not hate her, but it doesn't always work. So it's just it's fun. It's a one watch, but it's fine. You know, it's a fun rom-com. The other thing I watch is Dear Santa on Paramount Plus, and this is with Jack Black. And this kid writes his Dear Santa, but he mixes up the letters and he writes it to Satan, and Jack Black appears because he's Satan, and he wants the kid to make those 3 wishes so he could take his soul, and it goes on from there. But the kid is pretty endearing.
Mhm.
He does some impossible, crazy things. This is not the best movie at all, not by a long shot, okay? So I'm not highly recommending this, but if you like Jack Black, that's
I
about it.
do.
If you
He's
like
super
Jack Black,
fun.
then go watch it because oh, and you know, at the very end, I am gonna tell you this, I shed another tear, and it really did. It jarred me. I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. That is so heartwarming." And it just yeah. So that one and Hot Frosty both made me shed tears. So I was like, "Ooh, this is,
Mhm.
so bizarre." And then I watched Nutcracker with Ben Stiller, and this is a comedy drama, and it is about him. His sister passes away, her husband, and so he has 4 rambunctious nephews that he has to figure out what he's going to do with them. But
Mhm.
what I really liked about this is these 4 boys are real brothers and they've never acted, and that this movie was inspired by, I believe, the director meeting those kids, and he wrote about it. So then he casted those kids in this movie, and there's such a authenticity about these kids. Like, you can see that they're not acting. Like, it's real. It's the way they act is like how kids would act. It's just so I don't know, just something about it. That part of it makes it heartwarming. It's a little bit slow, but I encourage people to try and watch it through the end because it does have a nice story that goes along with it. So,
No,
and the last go ahead.
when you say he wrote the story about the brothers, did their parents really die?
I I I don't know that. They didn't bring that up, so I don't think
Oh,
so. I think he was writing at
okay.
about the 4 I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to go find out. But I just know that he stumbled upon these 4 kids and started talking to them, so I now you made me curious, Sam. I'm gonna go look at
Sorry.
I know the brothers, their name is the Jansen brothers.
Okay.
So, we'll see. And,
Jansen.
you know, they 3 of them have really long hair. One of them has hair, like, up to here long, but the other 3 have
Mhm.
long hair. I mean, like, long blonde hair. It's all, like, flowing. 2 are twins.
Mhm.
It's just cute. They
Ooh.
just feel so, like I said, so real, authentic, so it's very cool. The last thing I just wanted to mention, this came out a year ago. I think it's a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's called The Holdovers. Did you ever watch this, Sam? It was an Oscar-nominated
No.
film. Yeah, Oscar-nominated film, and Divine Joy Randolph won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. This
I
is
remember that.
yeah, it's based in the '70s. It's just really good. I highly out of all of these, I highly recommend that one. That one is really well done. It's about Paul Giamatti's this curmudgeon teacher, and he has to stay because these kids are like at a boarding school. So only a few kids can't go
Mhm.
home because their parents are either off skiing or something's happening. And so a few of them end up staying there. And both he and Divine Joy Randolph's character have to stay. She's like the cook, and so
Mm.
and they just form these few people just form a relationship, and it's just a really
It sounds
good
so
film.
cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, as you were talking about it, I got, like, a feeling in my stomach that that's gonna probably make me cry.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
I can't remember now. I might have.
Oh, because
I
it's, like, a
don't
year old.
know. Yeah, but it's good, and it just came across my attention. I'm like, "Oh, I have to mention that one. That's a good one." All right. So I want to get back to our question of the day, which is what is one of your favorite holiday songs? Because, we see all these movies, but it all starts off with that song in the stores when you're like shopping and you're like, oh, it's October. We're supposed to be doing or something. I don't know, November. And then you hear that song. What's yours, Sam?
So, I think because I worked in a mall for a lot of years and in the grocery store before that and Starbucks before that, so, like, the old like, traditional holiday songs are like a no-go for me. They either
Ah,
annoy me because I've heard them too much, they make me sad because they remind me of my parents. So I had to go with a semi-new song. It's Christmas Tree Farm by Taylor Swift. I listen to it only around the holidays, even though she is basically my top Spotify person. Um, but it's just so cheesy and cliche, which makes it kind of catchy. And it's just charming as a Christmas tune. As soon as the bells start going, it leads into like an upbeat rhythm. And it's the like, and her lyrics are whimsical. Like, my favorite line is, "In my heart, there's a Christmas tree farm where the people would come to dance under sparkling lights." And just fills you up with like joy, and it's festive and just honestly makes me smile.
love
So yeah,
it.
that one's my favorite. What's
I love
yours?
so I hopefully I know all the names of my songs. Okay. I love that you picked a song that was not like a traditional song, right? And then it's a Taylor Swift song. I think that is so cool. I have too many to pick. So I'm going to say, first off, I love anything Michael Bublé sings because he's one of my favorite Christmas artists. And so it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas is something that I love that he sings. Anything he sings. I could just hear him sing any song and it's great. But I do have my special vinyls that I put on. I love the song with Kelly Clarkson and Ariana Grande. Santa Can't You Hear Me? So I think that is one of my favorite songs from Kelly's vinyl. And I always love Feliz Navidad, always. I mean, that's a great song. I love it. It's been around for so long. You know whose vinyl that I have that I love is Ingrid
Who?
Michaelson.
She is so good.
Yes, I have her Christmas album. I love her voice. Has a duet with Leslie Odom Jr. and they sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You." It is
So
oh my
I'm gonna have
god,
to
it is
listen to
so
that.
good. Yes, please, their voices together, and she has such a different, unique voice that it just I love it, and I love that I have all of those
Mhm.
different, um, vinyls to listen to at Christmas time, and I can't wait to put them on. I haven't done it yet, but I will be, and so I'm
Oh.
excited. So, sorry I had so many. I can't help it.
Oh god, no. I like I said, I had a reason for not picking any more than that, and I think my other favorite one would have been the John Lennon and Yoko Ono one, and that
Oh
one's just depressing.
god, I
It's
love
so
that
good
song.
though.
I love it.
The war is over, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so it's
So
Happy
this is
Xmas, war is
Christmas.
over. It's Christmas. Yep.
Oh my
When I
gosh,
was younger,
so
my
good.
mom loved that, so I think she was just a big, like, John Lennon
Lennon
fan,
fan? Yeah.
and yeah, so I think
I
so that's
guess I
also a
have
really good
chills.
holiday song, and you don't hear it
That one
and you
gave
don't
me
hear it too
chills.
often either, because oh,
I love it.
mm,
Thank you for sharing that one. But what
yeah,
were you
it's
gonna
so
say?
good. Of course. Well, we used to put it on to do, like, stuff with, like, the decorations and the tree, and that was always nice. Maybe I'll play
Yeah,
it this year.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put mine up while I'm my tree is up, but nothing is on it yet. So when I start putting things on it, I'll put on my songs. I'll think about you, Sam, too,
I
because
think
I'm
we're
like, "Ooh, we had a
oh.
conversation about this."
I think we're gonna put up our Christmas stuff this weekend. With Thanksgiving, we just didn't really feel like doing it. It's just us, so we're like, whenever we put it up is fine.
Yeah,
Could be just
yeah,
before
that'll
Christmas.
yeah, it could be. Or put on those holiday movies that you've never seen. This way you're like, "Oh, put them on," and then you're like, "Oh, wait, this is kinda funny," and then you'll go watch it.
Yeah,
That's your job.
and
That's your
before I know
job.
it, he's doing all the work and I'm watching the movies.
That'll be fun. All right. So,
Yeah.
those are some of our favorite songs. And friends out there, we want to know what your favorite holiday song is. So, please leave us a comment here on YouTube. And you can also leave it on Spotify because I don't know if you know this, but Spotify has video podcasts now. So, they could be watching any
Ooh.
place. You can also leave us a comment on any social media, or you could even call us if you just want to tell us or sing the song to us. Our phone number is 669-223-8542 because we want to hear from you. Also, if you have any holiday movies that you want to share with us, we would love to hear that too. All right, Sam, before we close this out, I just want to know if you wanted to share any holiday memory or tradition.
So every year, my husband and I, and like just and whoever wants to come over, like my brother, his mom, whoever, we typically do a non-traditional meal for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. We've done this a few years in a row, not both, but I think this year it's going to be both. It's going to be both. So last year for Christmas, my husband made fried rice, but used ham instead of like being the main protein. We had cranberries, all the traditional things. It was phenomenal. It was so good. And this year for Thanksgiving, we did like Italian instead. I've been watching The Sopranos, and Roger thought he could just make the Carmela's baked ziti, which was phenomenal, so good. We did have a little traditional, we had a green bean casserole and some stuffing because those are just like my two favorite things. He also
Mm.
made really good meatballs, and it was just heaven. How about you?
So, as far as tradition, I would think it's celebrating a big Christmas Eve for us. That happened with my parents and my family growing up. And I think it was because my siblings were older than me. And so they were married and had children. And so their children were a little bit closer to my age, almost than my siblings were. So I think that's why we
Mhm.
celebrated on Christmas Eve. So every Christmas Eve, all my family would come over. We'd have a big party and, my parents have passed, some of my siblings are gone, and I just couldn't imagine not having it. So I carry on the tradition. So now I have the party on Christmas Eve. And I think that even my, sons and girlfriends and friends and everything look forward to it. And that's what we do. So we celebrate on Christmas Eve. But I'm also thinking of doing, you had mentioned exchanging socks. And so
Mhm.
as a tradition, so I was thinking, oh, it'd be fun to give each other something on Christmas Eve because we, when I say celebrate Christmas Eve, I mean we have a party. That's what it is. It's not when I
Oh,
was with, yeah, it's a big party. So we don't really exchange too many gifts. There might be a few, but we kind of save it for Christmas Day. But so anyway, I
mhm.
thought it'd be fun to start something on Christmas Eve along with the big party, maybe some socks or something. I don't know. We'll have to see.
You could always you you could do like if people bring like a pair of socks just like random and then they're thrown in a pile and everyone has to go pick one. It's like a sock roulette.
Oh, true. Yeah, but everybody be
That
fighting
could be
about certain
fun.
socks, right?
So
I
what
want
my
the
family used to do, not with socks, but we would do like a white elephant thing where you could trade it. It could get stolen twice, and then the third
yes.
person got to keep it. So you could always enact like a rule like that and be like, "Dems to breaks."
I am so glad you said that because my husband came home and said, "Oh, at work they want to do a white elephant." And then I was telling him how you're supposed to steal it, like put a cap on it, how many times you can steal it. And the person leading this, "Oh, there's no stealing in the white elephant. You just get what you get." And my husband's all, "I don't think so." He's all, "My wife said this." So then he comes home and
Yeah,
he asks me, and I'm like, "Well, that's how we played it." So here you're in states away from
I'm
me.
confirming.
Yeah. And
We grew up on
you're
opposite ends of the
yes,
country.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and you have the same thought as me. So okay. I don't know the
Yeah.
official way to play it. I just know that's how we played it. So we could
I
steal it
feel like
twice.
whoever's hosting the party, yeah,
Yes, to
it's like
decide.
house rules. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, house
It's
rules.
funny that you mentioned like doing things on Christmas Eve. My family loved doing stuff on Christmas Eve, both halves. So I grew up in like a this little valley, and my family was like 15, 20 minutes away from each other. So it was just easy to go from like my mom's half to my dad's half. And we used to go to my dad's sisters for Christmas Eve, and like such fond memories. We still sometimes do go. It's like an hour away, but we do that like on occasion if we get invited and feel like going. And then my mom's half did the same thing, but they're Italian, so we would do like the feast of the seven fishes, and I was like, that is very gross. No, thank you. It's actually if you've seen The Bear, that holiday
Yeah.
episode is like my childhood. I was very
Oh,
triggered by I had to stop watching it. I had to, like, calm down. I
oh
was like,
my
"This is
gosh.
that's way too much."
Oh my gosh, Sam.
Italians.
Oh my goodness. Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining me today. I just enjoy your feedback, your company, your conversation, you're hearing about your memories and everything else. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for always having me. This is always such a pleasure. It's always a highlight of my week, and I'm gonna stop talking because I will start crying.
Just
Just
go
so
watch the
thankful for
movies
you,
and
like,
cry.
I
I'm
really yeah.
thankful for you.
Actually, I'd be like
Yeah.
when Roger comes up, like, "I was watching a movie, I wasn't crying because of the podcast."
Oh, Sam.
Oh,
All right. Well, Sam will be back with me. We are going to be covering Wicked and Gladiator 2. So look out for that podcast. It's dropping along with this one. So be on the lookout. All right. Thank you out there. We want to thank you for joining us. We hope that something that we said today resonated with you, gave you a smile, a chuckle, some inspiration. Please follow Screens and Focus at screensandfocus.com because we would love more people in our community. Remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
bye.